I know where you may find the gauntlets of the Crusader, for I was the one who lost them. Though many know where they are still lost. I believe there is something you must do in order to retrieve them. Would you listen to my tale and learn of the gauntlet's fate? When the Order fractured, I followed Sir Beric into war, taking the gauntlets with me. When it was over, I returned to Cyrodiil. I attempted to return to the service of the Nine, but the war had changed me. I no longer had sympathy for the weak or pity for the suffering. In the brief time I was there, I did more to hurt the chapel than help it. It was there that I was cursed. A beggar who came to the chapel each day for help tried my patience one too many times. I lost my temper and struck him. My blow landed harder than I had intended, and he fell to the floor dead, killed in the very chapel of the God of Mercy. I left the chapel at once, of course, but the damage was done. I was weak, constantly weary, and lacked the energy to do almost anything. Ah, yes. As proof of the deed, when I struck the poor man, the gauntlets slipped right off my hands and fell to the floor. Heavy as stone, they would not move. None could lift them. I suspect they lie there still, in Coral's chapel. You must prove to Stendarr you are worthy to lift the gauntlets once more. Seek out the priests in Coral. Perhaps they can help you. May your sword strike true.
I'm listening.
Hi there. Hello. What brings you here, my lady? Ah, yes. The gauntlets have been here for ages. I know only the basic story behind them. They're more of a novelty these days. My only real involvement with them these days is keeping the youngsters from hurting themselves trying to pick the gauntlets up. What is your interest in them, if I may ask? Yes, well, I don't know the whole thing. A great many years ago, a knight of the old order did something terrible, and the gauntlets just fell off. They dropped to the floor right where he stood, and no one could lift them. It was a sign of the curse placed upon this knight by Stendarr, I think. That curse still lingers on today, in fact. Poor Kellen. Oh, why, he's a descendant of that very knight from so long ago. The curse has affected his family all these years. He suffers from it now. He came here from Hammerfell seeking a cure, but, well, there's really nothing that can be done for him, I think. He may know more of the story than I. Perhaps you should speak with him if he's feeling well enough. Take care.
You. What is it? Is there a cure? Has Aurelder found a cure? I know there's something he's not telling me. You've seen them, I assume. The only evidence of what happened so many years ago. Do you know that I thought perhaps I could lift them? That somehow this curse would be lifted if I could pick them up? I tried for hours, until my whole body ached, and I could barely move. I lay there on the floor next to them, weeping. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I've been at the end of my rope for far too long to be ashamed of anything. I don't know why they're still here. They're so heavy, and I'm so weak. What does Stendarr want from me? Ah, so you've heard it, have you? Terrible curse. Been in the family almost longer than anyone can remember. When I was younger, I could live with it. Wasn't so bad, but it's only gotten worse over time. I'd come here, to the place it all happened, in the hopes that something could be done. I fear I haven't much time left otherwise. Our elder has let me stay, mostly out of pity, I think. But there's something else. I swear he knows more than he tells. I've seen plenty of pity in people's eyes over the years. I grew up recognizing it. But with our elder, there's something else there. And when he speaks to me, there are times I'd swear he sounds apologetic. Guilty, even. Why would that be? What reason does he have to hold back information? I know I'm a doomed man one way or the other. Speak to him if you can. Convince him to tell me what he knows as a dying man's last wish. Bye.
Welcome, Knight Commander. It's a horrible thing, truly. One cannot help but pity those such as Kellen, who have such a burden placed on them, through no fault of their own. But if it is the will of the Nine, then there is little that can be done. The gauntlets have been here far longer than any of us. I don't expect that to ever change. They'll almost certainly be here long after we're all gone. Certainly after Kellen's family has died out. I cannot face him. I know what might be done for him, but I haven't the will to do it. I wish I could help him. Truly I do. But I cannot muster the strength to damn myself on his behalf. The curse. I know what would lift it, but I cannot do it. The only way to free Kellen of his curse is to take it on myself. I am not strong enough to do this, and so I am a failure. I fail Kellen every time I speak to him, and I fail Stendarr every time I pray to him and do not ask for the power to lift the curse. Do you know one who would do such a thing? One who would pray at this chapel's altar, pray to Stendarr for the power to lift this curse? He's down in the chapel hall, resting. You may speak to him if you... Good news from... Be seeing you.
You've got... a real bounce to your step. How did you? I feel good. I feel good. I don't feel like death. I feel like running.
A pleasure to speak with you. You You lifted the curse? But that means that now you've cursed yourself. Why would you do such a thing? Bye. Any new books you've been reading?
I've been trying to get through Mysterious Agavair. It's a fairly interesting read.
Sir Knight, thank Arke you are back. I have terrible news. Sir Roderick, I think he's dead. A holy knight, like you, questing for the relics at the prophet's call. I was his squire. I believed he was chosen by the gods to reclaim the relics. At first things were going well. He prayed at all the shrines and received a vision, a disturbing vision. The shade of Sir Beric spoke to me was all he said. We must put him to rest. We traveled back and forth across Colovia. He was always asking about an old noble family, the Vlindrels. Finally, he found what he was looking for. We went to Underpall Cave, and there he fell. He said that Sir Beric's tomb was in Underpall Cave, which is no cave, but some kind of buried keep. He had learned that Sir Beric had once been a questing knight, like us. He had found the greaves and sword of the Crusader, but then turned to evil. Sir Roderick hoped to find the relics within Sir Beric's tomb, and he did. But we also found a terrible guardian, the wraith of Lord Vlindrel, Sir Beric. Yes, my lady, and I brought you. Sir Roderick shouted for me to take them. The greaves, the holy relic, they're yours. The wraith, it used it against Sir Roderick. I don't know how that evil thing could use the holy weapon, but it did. It screamed as it struck. I'm sorry. I remember Sir Roderick saying something about the sword before we went to Underpall. It may be important. He was worried that the sword may have been turned to evil, that it may have to be reconsecrated on the altar of its creator, the divine Arke. That's all I remember. I hope it may help you. Sir, might I ask a boon? Let me come with you. I would become a Knight of the Nine and dedicate my life to the service of the gods. Thank you. Thank you, Sir Knight. I will not fail you. Give me a moment to arm myself, and I will accompany you to Underpall Cave to destroy the foul wraith.